Hello, my loves, and welcome back for the Leanne. Oh my goodness, welcome back to the Leanne Aligned podcast. My brain is just salad right now. I'm coming off of a cold, and I have not recorded anything in a little bit of time since my move, so bear with me. But I just finished recording a little voice note for the email that's going out today because it is 12:12, and the little message that I recorded ended up being 26 minutes long, so I decided to turn it into a little podcast episode for you. Just in case you're not on the email list, I wanted to be able to connect with you and share the love and the announcements and the musings and the magic and the free guide I have and all that fun stuff. So I will let the Leanne, who's already recorded that episode, tell you all about the juicy things. But yeah, I hope you enjoy today's little episode. I missed you. I'm looking forward to getting back into a regular recording routine. And without further ado, let's get into that. Hello, my beautiful creative souls, and welcome to your message for 12/12, and quite honestly, just a little bit of a catch up. It has been what feels like forever since I have spoken with you either on the podcast or on YouTube, and I miss you so much. So I'm really excited to do this little audio message for you in today's email. I have been, of course, recording 2024 year ahead readings, so I have been speaking to you that way, but that's, of course, a very select few of you, and I hope you are all doing well. I have been deep in the world of tarot behind the scenes. I have so many offers that I'm going to be launching here at the end of December and into January, and I'm so excited to bring them to you. But a few of them are available now, and since I am, in that world, and today is 12/12, I wanted to talk about the Hanged Man a little bit. So the Hanged Man in the tarot is the archetype of it's not quite the mystic, but it's somewhere between the Hermit and the Wheel of Fortune, and a mixing of those two. The Hanged Man is a archetype that invites us to pause and gain a new perspective. Sometimes the Hanged Man shows up when we are stuck, but most of the time it shows up not when we are stuck, but rather when we need to take a pause and a break. And the Hermit is very much the archetype that is actually my card of the year, but for 2024, we'll get to that. But the Hermit's very much the card of going within and seeking out your own inner truths, really absorbing information and discerning what is true for you before you kind of emerge with that. It's really kind of a calm before the change of the Wheel of Fortune. And then after the Hermit gets to the Wheel of Fortune, right, we have that change, we have that altering of the path, we have this spinning of the wheel. And when we embody those two archetypes together, there very much is this cause for change, this cause for the turning of the wheel, the changing of how you operate, where you go moving forward because of what you learned. And the Hanged Man really is the embodiment of those lessons, right? You have the Hermit, you have the Wheel of Fortune, and then you have Justice too, or Strength, depending on which order you subscribe to, depending on your system. But these three together, these three cards, are really about embracing your truth and taking time to understand that and to know that and to move forward from that new place. So the Hanged Man really is an invitation for us, especially here on this new moon. It's such a beautiful marriage of the two energies, to really take the time to step back a little bit and to survey everything you have learned thus far over the course of the year, and look at, what are my beliefs now? What are the lessons that I learned? How can I digest that into something meaningful, into a way that informs the decisions of what I would like to cultivate moving forward? And right now is such a beautiful period before the new year to really just sit in the energy of listening and of witnessing and exploring through, again, that pause, that intentional, not so much searching, but just the intentional awareness of, this is where I'm at, what's coming up, and showing me the direction that I would like to go in. And one thing that I found really beautiful with the Hanged Man is right now I'm using the Darkwood decks. This is the Darkwood Tarot deck by Sasha Graham, art by Abigail Larson. Totally obsessed. It's currently kind of taking its place as my everyday deck of the moment. Ironically, in cahoots with the Horror Tarot, which is also illustrated by Abigail Larson. But anyway, I have so much to update you on. But in the guidebook for that deck, and again, I'll leave it linked for you, she being Sasha Graham, talks about the Hanged Man being at a crossroads. So almost in a little nod to being at the entrance of the underworld where the goddess Hecate lives, where all of the, creatures of the night live. And she talks about this being a foreshadowing of meeting the devil and really taking time to hang out with the spider and look at the different stories that we weave and the narratives that we weave into what things mean for us. And that, I thought that was so beautiful, because I'd never thought of the Hanged Man as a crossroads card, but because of that, all that Wheel of Fortune talk that we were talking about, right? It really brings that energy in of like, okay, I'm at a crossroads. Where do I go from here, right? Am I at a point where I need to do some shadow work and I need to go into the underworld and meet the devil? Or am I kind of coming out of that already and ready to go into a different path, right? There's so much choice within the Hanged Man, but it's really a pause to listen to what our internal guidance system is asking us, to really get out of our head and tap into our hearts, which can be kind of counterintuitive during this time, right? When we think about the new year, there's so much pressure about, figuring out your fucking life plan for like the next 365 days and figure out your word of the year and what you're going to work on and the goals that you're going to set and et cetera, et cetera. And it's a lot of just like pressure to really dive into this masculine foot forward, go, go, go energy, when really, if we look at the seasonal energy, right, we're being asked to slow down and to take time to listen, right? We're going into winter of all times. Winter, the nature outside, I mean, if you're in the northern hemisphere, I know my southern hemisphere peeps are going into summer, so the energy is different for you, but a large majority of us are in that northern hemisphere, and it is winter, and the life outside is not blossoming. It is going to sleep and going within, right? Going to that underworld to explore. more of those shadow pieces and things. So I invite you, as we move forward from this little 12-12 portal, or whenever you're watching this, listening to this, whenever you're here, if you're feeling the call of the Hanged Man to just like take a step back and like chill the fuck out and like really feel into more of that feminine energy of like, okay, this is my kind of year in review. This is everything that has come to this point, right? 12-12 feels very synchronistic. It's a new moon. There's so much energy here to work with, even, the days leading up to and the days after. And then this beautiful portal between, now and the end of the year. What am I feeling into? What is calling me forward? And what have I learned up until this point? One thing that I really like to use in my reflection and looking ahead, in terms of kind of the overall energy and like lessons that I've learned and things, is my tarot card of the year. So I have created a beautiful little guide for you, a free printable guide, which you can download. It's 18 pages long. It's a guide and a journal. That's why it's so long. I walk you through how to find your tarot card of the year, ways I like to work with it, and there's some beautiful journaling sheets and check-in sheets to help you explore the tarot card of the year for you. But I want to speak a little bit about it here because I found this to be such an instrumental tool for me within my spiritual practice. And I found this more helpful in terms of just overall integration and understanding of my path than the year ahead spread. Don't get me wrong, I still love the year ahead spread. They're super fun. I enjoy doing them. I, of course, have the 2024 year ahead offering. But within that, I've also incorporated the tarot card of the year, and we kick off our readings with that. And what the tarot card of the year is, I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm so excited, but excuse me, I'm also getting over a cold, so let me pause and get some water. So your tarot card of the year is a card that is calculated based on your month of birth, your day of birth, and the current year that you were looking at the card for. So if you were doing one for the year we're currently in, it would be 2023. If you're doing it for the year ahead, it would be 2024. And what this card represents is these are the major life lessons or soul lessons that you're working on through this year based on, astrology and tarot together, which is why your birthday comes into play there. And whatever number you get based on this calculation, and again, this is all in the free printable for you. I'll leave that linked if you would like to access that and download that. But the number that you get through the calculation corresponds to a major arcana card of the year, and that is what represents your lessons. So, for instance, myself, for example, of course, 2023, my card was strength, and I love this lens of looking at the lessons because it can show up in our lives in so many different ways, and there's so many different layers, right? There were times in 2023 where I needed to pull on my inner strength, to cultivate more inner strength to get through something, right? There were times when I had noticed that I already built the inner strength that I needed, and I was able to go ahead and utilize that inner strength. There were times that pushed me, and there were times that I found comfort in it. There were tests that built more strength, right? I think I'm saying the same thing over and over again. It's hard to articulate, but there's the strength of letting go. There's the strength in being the bigger person. There's a strength in doing the hard things. There's a strength in being vulnerable in certain situations. There's a strength in making hard decisions and doing what you have to do. There's a strength in exploring your shadows, right? There's strength can pop up in so many different ways. And I found over the course of the year that it showed up in all of these different ways for me, in little nuances and in bigger picture things that I was going through, right? And while it is helpful to look at the year ahead, of course, through the lens of this card, I find it more helpful to be aware of it for the tool of reflection and review, right? To look back on something and recognize the theme of the lesson in it as strength. Otherwise, it just seems like a bunch of random gobbledygook, right? That just happened during the year. But when we can have this unique perspective of, okay, this is what my soul is working on. This is one of the major lessons that I'm working on exploring this year, not to make ourselves kind of fulfill that prophecy, right? But to rather just have a different tool to view things through. Again, that hanged man perspective, right? It's a different way of looking at the things that are popping up in your life. And sometimes I feel that the tarot card of the year is present more in some years than others. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, or that says something, good or bad either way. But again, it's just a really fun way to look through things. And then, of course, if you're like me and you pull cards for yourself all the time, the other fun thing about the tarot card of the year is it then becomes a significator card. And I find that especially when I'm like trying to make a decision on something, or I'm trying to learn more about why a certain thing is happening, or why I'm struggling with a certain decision, or whether or not to execute a certain project. If that card pops up, I know, okay, this is connected to my major evolution this year, and it's a little either confirmation or not in the right direction, and that can be really beautiful. It can also be seen as kind of an invitation to come back to ourselves. You can put your card on your altar. You can create magic with your card. Like, there's so many things that you can do with your tarot card of the year. And again, I offer a lot more examples in that little printable guide if you want to check that out. But I have just found it to be such a beautiful tool, one that's really enriched my self-reflection practice, and one that's helped me really orient and understand the different things that are going on within my path for myself at the moment. So if you're interested in calculating your tarot card of the year, again, I have that free printable guide that you can check out. I also have a couple more offers if you would like to dive into that reading as well. And not reading, sorry, that tarot card in a different way as well. So I have, you can download the free guide and absolutely do the research on your own. If you prefer to have the guide, either you already know your tarot card of the year, or you want me to figure it out for you, and you want a more personalized guide that has special card spreads that have to do with your card of the year, special reflection questions that are, again, oriented around that specific card, and a little video musing of me talking about that card, then you can purchase a card specific guide. I will leave that down below. They're super affordable. It's $10. And again, you get that personalized guide. You can either choose one that is for the card of the year if you already know it, or there's an option where I can calculate that for you. It's not an instant download because I do have to kind of put that whole thing together for you with the little video and send it off, but you will get that, within 48 to 72 hours. of purchasing. Another option that you have is I have actually just announced spiritual path readings, and I'm so excited to bring these to you. So what a spiritual path reading is it is a psychic and intuitive reading mixed with a card reading to help support you along your spiritual path. Each one is uniquely tailored to the individual who books the reading, but generally, basically what happens is I sit down just as I would if I was doing strictly a tarot card reading. I set sacred space for the highest and greatest good of all. Of course, I turn the camera on. They're pre-recorded, so I turn the camera on. I speak to you as if you're here. We call in our guides together. We take time to be present, and then I go ahead and tune into my intuitive channel. I speak to you about things that came up, or feelings that came up as I was preparing for your reading. I deliver any messages, pictures I'm seeing, feelings I'm getting, phrases I'm hearing, songs that are coming to mind, things like that. And we explore whatever your topic of inquiry was, or, issue you were coming with, whatever you wanted to explore within that spiritual path reading. I receive messages and guidance on that. And then because I am a tarot reader, I pull out my cards and we go a little bit further, pulling cards, asking, just continuing that conversation, getting some more concrete, maybe advice or insights, action steps for you as you move forward. And then I, of course, close the reading and I send you that recording so that you may view it. And yeah, it's kind of like it's a card reading with a little more of that kind of psychic, intuitive information, and they're focused specifically on kind of your spiritual path. So whether you're working on connecting with your guides, or you're wanting more information on how you can have a more sustainable practice, or you just need to have some confirmation about your path right now, and you're like, look, I'm getting these sensations, I'm getting these signs, feeling a little lost or don't quite trust that, just want some extra confirmation, stuff like that. And right now I have a bundle available where you can purchase the Spiritual Life Path reading at a little bit of a discount, and they also gift you the card-specific guide for you to work with your tarot card of the year, especially since that's connected to the Spiritual Life Path reading. So that is up on offer. And then, of course, I have the 2024 year ahead readings where we start out with your tarot card of the year. Again, you get the personalized guide with that, and that's more focused on specifically like the themes of your card of the year. And then, of course, doing the year ahead reading. We do a general year ahead reading, and then we do 12 mini readings for each month of the year focused on the topic of your choice. If you would like to book in one of those before the end of the year, your deadline to do that is coming up. I was going to make that deadline the 14th, but I will go ahead and extend that a few days because I want to give you a few days to listen to this. So let's say you have until the 16th of December to book in. I only have 3 spots left available, so I will go ahead and leave the link for that below if you wish. But definitely, if anything, check out the free printable guide, no strings attached. I swear, it's so good. It's 18 pages. Some of you have already downloaded it and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe how much you put in here. And I'm like, I know, I literally just can't help myself. I want you guys to have all of the beautiful resources and things that you need to work with your card of the year. So, quick recap, because I threw a lot at you there. We have the invitation to enter into the world of the Hanged Man starting today, 12/12, into the end of the year. especially moving from the new moon to the full moon. The full moon happens to be on the 26th. So you have, 2 weeks there to really feel into, hey, what am I feeling? Did I learn from last year, et cetera, et cetera. We have the year, the tarot card of the year. I've said so many words. My brain's a little bit of a salad. We have our tarot card of the year, principle guide, invitation to work with your card of the year, explore the themes along your path. You could also calculate it for the past year and use that as like a nice reflection bit if you so choose. That free guide is available down below. We have the spiritual path reading, which is a intuitive psychic reading coupled with a tarot reading, where we explore whatever you're desiring to explore on your spiritual path at the moment. And you also get the card specific guide with that. You can purchase the tarot card of the year card specific guide. Such a mouthful. If you would like to, $10, that comes with your card specific guide for the year, specific card spreads that have to do with that, specific reflection questions that have to do with your card, and a little video of me musing about your particular card, kind of like I did for the Hanged Man at the beginning of this video. And then last but not least, we have the 2024 year ahead readings, which again incorporate the tarot card of the year and, a tarot reading for the year ahead. So general reading for the year ahead plus the 12 mini month breakdown within that. I know that's a lot. I have so much more coming. I won't throw any spoilers at you because I'll just end up talking about them and sharing more about them. But I have missed you so much. Thank you so much for taking your time to catch up with me today. I hope you are having a beautiful Tuesday, a wonderful 12/12 new moon. And if I don't speak with you before then, have a beautiful holiday season and a magical start to 2024, my love. All right. Talk again soon.